So the UK government have responded to the digital ID petition, and I want you to pause the video right now. I want you to guess in the comments what the British government's response to the digital ID petition was. Do you think they're going to approve it? Do you think that they accept that it's completely flawed and it's a bad idea? Well, this is what they said. So here's the petition. Do not introduce digital ID cards. We demand that the UK government immediately commits to not introducing a digital ID. There are reports of this being looked at. This had 2.7 million signatures in 12 days, one of the most highest recently signed petitions seen in the UK. And we've had a response from the government on the 2nd of October 2025, which says, we will introduce a digital ID within this parliament to help tackle illegal immigration, make accessing government services easier, and enable wider efficiencies. We will consult on the details soon. So essentially, cool, here's your petition. We're just going to explain why we're going to do it anyway. Now, before we go for the full response, because they've given a lot more detail, this isn't a full ad segment, but if you're looking for a VPN, make sure you check out private internet access at the link down below. They don't keep any logs, and it allows you to change your location on your phone to any country in the world, which is very useful. By using my link down below, you get 4 months free and 86% off, or you can scan this QR code up here. But yeah, back to the video. The government has announced plans to introduce a digital ID system which is fit for the needs of modern Britain. We are committed to making people's everyday lives easier and more secure, to putting more control in their hands, including over their own data, and to driving growth through harnessing digital technology. So hang on, they're putting our private data in our hands by bringing in third-party companies to manage it, all centralized in one location. We need to check up on the person that wrote this. We also want to learn from countries which have digitized government services for the benefit of their citizens, in line with our manifesto commitment to modernize government. It reminds me of that Borat thing, you know, it's like, for the great benefit of nation of Kazakhstan. Currently, when UK citizens and residents use their public services, start a new job, or for example, buy alcohol, they often need to present an assortment of physical documents to prove who they are or things about themselves. Right. When I go and buy a crate of Asahi, I flash my ID to the man behind the till. Sometimes, challenge 25. If you look over 25, they don't even ask. But sometimes I flash my ID to the man on the other side of the counter and he goes, yeah, fine. He doesn't keep it, store it, manage it, or do anything with that data. And when you go to rent a flat, for example, they will ask you to bring a copy of your passport with you to like the letting agent, or like your driving license and a utility bill to prove your current address. They read your utility bill to make sure it matches the address on the driving license, and they check the driving license or passport just to make sure you are who you say you are. Sometimes they scan ID and keep it on file, but not all the time. As someone that's rented a few places now, trust me, the processes have been very different throughout, but I know that a little letting agency office somewhere isn't farming my data out to third parties in other countries, which we've seen from a lot of these data management companies. No one's interested in hacking your local estate agent, which has maybe 75 or 100 addresses on file, compared to the 70 million strong database of British identifications held by the British government and their various third parties with digital ID. So using this argument of, oh, we show ID anyway, is such a stupid argument to make. This is both bureaucratic for the individual and creates space for abuse and fraud. And digital ID doesn't? This includes known issues of illegal working and modern slavery, whilst a fragmented approach and multiple systems across government make it difficult for people to access vital services. Well, I'll be honest, slavery in the UK is not a top 10 priority of things happening in the UK. It's not, to be honest, it's not really something we hear about quite a lot. And actually, some of the countries that do have digital identification do have severe slavery issues, such as Vietnam. In fact, they have a severe slavery issue with digital ID. Further, there are too many people who are excluded, like the 1 in 10 UK adults who don't have a physical photo ID, so they struggle to prove who they are and access the products and services they are entitled to. That's up to the people that don't have ID. You can get a copy of a birth certificate, you can get a passport. Your passport lasts for, 10 years or something? You can get a passport for £150. It's not cheap, but I guarantee it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than having to deal with the scenario where your digital ID gets cloned because the government have been hacked. To tackle these interlinked issues, we will introduce a new national ID. This is not a card, but a new digital identity that will be available for free to all UK citizens and legal residents aged 16 and over. Although we will consider through consultation if this should be 13 and over. Surely that's a GDPR issue. Like, if you go to a website, you can't collect cookie data on someone under the age of 18. or 16, one of the two. Just jumping in, after I filmed this video, the UK government in May of this year actually changed the GDPR age of consent to 13, so make of that as you will. Over time, people will be able to use it to seamlessly access a range of public and private sector services, with the aim of making our everyday lives easier and more secure. It will not be compulsory to obtain digital ID, but it will be mandatory for some applications. Now, a lot of people have championed this sentence here. Based on 2 MPs that I've spoke to, plus all the official statements that have gone out there, it won't be compulsory to have digital ID, but it will be compulsory to have digital ID if you want to work, you want to use the NHS, you want to leave the country with your passport, you want to own or operate a vehicle, i.e. for your driving license and insurance purposes, you want to rent a property, you want to buy a house, you want to register a business, or you wish to purchase products that are for people over the 18, such as alcohol. So yes, it is compulsory really, isn't it? You're basically being cornered by the British government. For example, the new digital ID will build on gov.uk One Login and the gov.uk wallet to drive the transformation of public services. Over time, the system will allow people to access government services such as benefits or tax records without needing to remember multiple logins or provide physical documents. It will significantly streamline interactions with the state, saving time and reducing frustrating paperwork, whilst also helping to create opportunities for more joined up government services. International examples show how beneficial this can be. For instance, Estonia's system reportedly saves each citizen hours every month by streamlining unnecessary bureaucracy, and the move to becoming a more digital society has saved taxpayer money. Yeah, how is Estonia's system going? If I remember correctly, it's not going too well, is it? And that's the best one out of all of them. Like I said, Vietnam's. By the end of this parliament, employers will have to check the new digital ID when conducting right to work check. There you go. So, if you want to work in the UK, you'll need digital ID. This will help combat criminal gangs who promise access to the UK labour market in order to profit from dangerous and illegal channel crossing. It will help create a fairer system between the UK citizens and legal residents, and crack down on forged documents and streamline the process for employers driving up compliance. You must comply! Further, it will create business information showing where employers are conducting checks, so driving more targeted action against non-compliance employers. Basically, everything they've just said there is about making it easier for the government to penalise people rather than necessarily for the benefit of the British economy. This is going to be a huge tax problem as well, a massive tax problem. For clarity, it will not be a criminal offence to not hold digital ID, and police will not be able to demand to see a digital ID as part of a stop and search. No, but the police can demand to see ID as part of a stop and search. And if you've got your phone on you and you don't have your passport and you don't have your driving licence, the next question will be, well, what ID do you have on you? And if you can't prove who you are, then you go back to the police station and then you have to go through that whole process and then you're kept. So digital ID will be the easiest option to prove your identity to the police. And while the police aren't directly asking for your digital ID, you will be providing it. Privacy and security will also be central to the digital ID programme. We will follow data protection law and best practice in creating a system which people can rightly put their trust in. People in the UK already know and trust digital credentials. Oh, read the room. Read the room. People in the UK already know and trust digital credentials held in their phone wallets to use in their everyday lives. I trust my bank card because the second it gets stolen, I can immediately freeze it. And it's held on my phone, which has a password, Face ID, and all of these other protections in place so people can't get hold of it. It's not perfect, but it's a compromise that I, the British citizen, have chosen to make for convenience. Digital ID is not a compromise that anyone in the UK wants to make for convenience. From paying for things to storing boarding passes, the new system will be built on a similar technology and be your boarding pass to government. Yeah, but a boarding pass doesn't contain all of your personal information. It contains your name and your bloody seat number and where you're flying to. Digitally checkable digital credentials are more secure than physical documents. No, they're not. They're not. I actually have a letter in front of me that was written to me and sent to me recently. What does it say? It's not stored anywhere online. Hasn't been scanned anywhere. Wasn't even typed up on a computer. So who has a copy of it? No one. Me. That's as close to encryption as we can get in the real world. Digital ID is not safer. Digital ID is as weak as the psychology of the person that's managing the various portals for it. Loads of government employees are going to be the subject of phishing attempts because of all of this. Digital credentials are more secure than physical documents which can be lost, copied or forged, and often mean sharing more information than just what's necessary for a given transaction. The new system will be designed in accordance with the highest security standards to protect against a comprehensive range of threats, including cyber attacks. I don't trust that. I don't trust that at all. We will launch a public consultation in the coming weeks and work closely with employers, trade unions, civil society groups, and other stakeholders to co-design the scheme and ensure that it's as secure and inclusive as possible. Following the consultation, we'll seek to bring forward legislation to underpin the system. Department for Science, Innovation and Technology. And the Department for Science, Technology and Innovation is headed up by Peter Kyle, the same Peter Kyle that says if you don't support Online Safety Act, you're on the side of paedophiles. Yeah, that guy. That's the guy that's heading this up. These petitions are to give us the illusion that we actually have a say. Like I said, this is one of the most voted for petitions in recent time. 2.7 million signatures in just 12 days, and this is continuously growing. In fact, whilst recording this video, it's gone up by thousands more signatures, and it's going to keep going. And the truth is, even if half the UK population, 35 odd million people, signed this petition, nothing would change. Even if people were like rioting and protesting on the streets, nothing would change. And this is where I'm in a weird spot when I share these petitions, because underneath each of my videos I have the links to the petitions because people want to feel like they're doing their bit. But over the years, what we've actually seen is that these petitions, especially with serious matters like Online Safety Act and things like digital ID, they don't do anything at all. If anything, you're just giving the government a list of names, email addresses and contact information of the people that oppose them, which, you know, that can present its own set of risks, especially with digital ID being introduced. I'm going to keep following this as it goes on, but I'm not sure what the answer is. I wish I had the answer. I wish there was an easy way that we could stop this happening, but the government are relentless, absolutely relentless, and they plead ignorance. They'll say things like digital ID is safer. No substantiation for that. They'll say that you can't copy it like you can copy a letter, and people will buy into that. People will believe that. And that's what they're relying on. They're relying on that percentage of the population that will trust them, trust everything they say. And it's awful. Make sure you check out private internet access at the link down below. There may be digital ID coming to the UK, but at least you can keep your online browsing activity private. So check the link down below. You get 4 months free and 86% off, or you can scan the QR code that's up here. A massive thank you to all of you watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and I shall see you all in the next video.